military greetings, fellow Zimbabwe. My name is Stephen Chuma, otherwise known as General Sarkozy. I am the national spokesperson for MDC Alliance Youth Assembly. Today is a special day for MDC Alliance Youth Assembly, as well as all progressive forces in this country. Today we remember the heroic efforts of South African children who died in 1976 on June 16. And the day is now being commemorated each and every year as the Day of the African Child, which is also otherwise known as the June 16 Day. The only crime that these children died for was demanding for a right to be taught in their own local language. It is for this reason that we in the broader democratic movement, we are cherishing the heroic efforts of that generation. And we are also getting an inspiration as we face the difficulties we have in this country. I have the national chairperson of MDC Alliance Youth Assembly, Comrade Obey Stole, better known as Comrade Luther.
Revolutionary salutations, fellow comrades and friends, both locally and abroad, ghetto youths, queens and kings. It is my pleasure to appear before your screens on this day, albeit difficult circumstances that we are confronted with in almost every sphere of life, ranging from the ravaging COVID-19 pandemic, which continues to claim the world's lives, to the biting economic conditions. This year marks 45 years since the exhibition of great courage by young men and women who stood firm and resolute in resisting oppression in Soweto. Today, we celebrate their heroic acts, for it is from such acts that we will still draw inspiration to fight for what is right. But more importantly, we draw several lessons that remain relevant to the present day struggles. The 1976 generation was fighting against racial segregation, which was widespread in the legal social order at that time. In comparison, our generation still faces similar challenges, where inequalities are rife. Alienation of the masses have become an order of the day at the hands of a few political elites. The young can and will change and transform. In 1976, the young people organized themselves and took it upon themselves to resist what they deemed unacceptable. In the same vein, here we must also be inspired to organize ourselves and deliver the nation from the predicament that we are facing. It is time to organize from the periphery of the peripheries of Chilonga to the leafy suburbs of Borodale. We have an obligation to organize ourselves, unequivocally resist oppression and repression whenever they rear their ugly heads, as like what we are seeing today. Our education sector is in shambles, with teachers being genuinely incapacitated, as exacerbated by poor remuneration. The crisis in the education sector is evident for all of us to see, as the recent ZIMSEC results were disastrous. Such a crisis calls for collective action and efforts as a generation to ensure that there is restoration of dignity in the education sector. The health sector as well is also in tatters. Our doctors and nurses are going out of their ways, risking their lives to save lives of with very little support from the government. Expecting mothers continue to lose their children. This is equally a huge blow to the nation, for we are losing potential leaders of tomorrow and, of course, possible captains of industries. While these crises are piling on every ordinary citizen, it is regrettable that the regime in our motherland has no shame and have the audacity to splash millions of dollars in buying helicopters, while millions have nothing to show in their plates. With these and many other realities, it has become clear that our today's regime has been possessed by the demon of apartheid. As they thrive on abusing ordinary citizens, they continue to arbitrarily evict people from their land. The case of Dinde, Chilonga, and many others. They continue to butcher people's livelihoods by wantonly stealing vendors' wares as well as destroying their stores. We have seen that happening in the recent past. While this is happening, it is very important that by drawing lessons from the 1976 generation, we have a solution to this madness. As one of the country's founding fathers noted, this country will not die, for the young people who save it. Indeed, we are ready as the young people to save this country. For us to save this country, there are key fundamentals, there are key measures that we need to unconditionally embrace. Unity of purpose. There is more that unites us as a young generation than that which has a possibility to divide us. We are united by joblessness. We are united by poor education. We are united by poor health services. We are united by inequalities which are directed to us as a generation. It is against that background, fellow comrades and friends, that we need to unite and come together. 4, we know that there is power in togetherness. People power is stronger than the people in power. We also take this opportunity to salute fellow comrades who are also taking part in the democratic struggle. They defied the gun. Today, we also need to take lessons because we are operating and living under a brutal regime. We are confronted with abductions, arbitrary arrests. Right now, as I address this nation, one of our own, Makombora Ruzivishi, is not with us. He is serving a jail term for a crime that he never committed, a crime that he will never commit. But because the regime is brutal, we are here suffering as a generation. But the solution is for us to gain courage and have the audacity to resist any form of oppression. We must also live to mobilize, not to act otherwise. We need all hands on the deck, for we are the solution in our collectiveness. On our part as the MDC Alliance with Assembly, we launched the 1 million campaign and we call upon every other citizen to take part. Let's join hands and deliver Zimbabwe from the economic, social bondage that we are facing. We must not lose sight of the common enemy. The enemy in this case, it is the government of Zimbabwe that has since deprived the people of Zimbabwe of their rights, that has since deprived the people of Zimbabwe of their freedom. It is our time to come together and find a solution. After everything having been said and done, we must all register to vote and get an opportunity to determine the future that we want as a generation. Registration is currently going on in each and every district office and nationwide. The time to do so is now. For if it is not us, then who? If it's not now, then when? Fellow Zimbabweans, we are the solution. We know the problem. We know the common enemy. It's now time for us to be inspired by what the generation of 1976 did. They stood up courageously so and defeated oppression, defeated any forms of injustice. It is our time to defeat injustice and bring freedom to the people of Zimbabwe. Thank you, Zimbabwe. You have a blessed weekend.